What's up, fellow collectors? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I'll be your curator. Guys, we have another fun one for you. We are back with our second installment, part 2 of our action figure variant factor. The variant action figure factor, part 2. Guys, this debate, this video was so big that we couldn't put it into one video. We had to make 2 videos. We read a lot of the comments of the first, the part 1 video. And we got a lot of very interesting responses. All good. And all coming from different points of views, from collectors, from just enthusiasts, you name it. The list goes on and on. And we read them very carefully because we wanted to make sure, we could kind of throw a few of those comments into the mix for today's video. And guys, I'm going to put my my devil's advocate hat on today. I know the first video was kind of warm and fuzzy about the variants and all the pros and the positives of having variants, for collectors and for enthusiasts. But now we want to take a look at the darker side of having variant action figures and how it affects us as collectors, as consumers, how it affects the mass market, you name it. And speaking of the market, let's take a good hard look at what, just from looking at, information and being a collector for over 30 years, what happens when you flood the market, when toy companies flood the market with variants, really of the same figure, the same sculpt, just in different clothing. Is it necessary to have so many figures of the same likeness in the market? How does that affect the market? I personally think that it puts a strain on the collector. And I know some people will say, some collectors and some enthusiasts will say, well, that way everybody gets a figure. Well, I thought variants were supposed to be exclusive. I thought they were supposed to be limited. But if you have so many of these guys out there, well, how exclusive and how limited are they? And we're looking at our rock and roll Hall of Fame G.I. Joe action figure. This was the tan version, tan shirt version. See, he's got his lifelike hair. And he was one of the earlier variants. This figure came out in maybe 91, 92, somewhere around there. So variants, this is nothing new to the market. Definitely nothing new to Hasbro. So if you were walking around and you bought this rock and roll tan shirt rock and roll figure, and you went back to the store a week later, and here is the same figure. Let's get you a blown out look. Here's the same figure. The only difference is he's got a green shirt and he's got more weapons here in a bag on the side of the box, as you can see. More weapons, less weapons. More weapons, less weapons. Now, how would that make you feel as a collector to say, well, you know what? And they're the same price. They're the same exact price. No difference in price. How does it make you feel as a collector? One week, you got this guy, and the next week, here comes this guy. So let's say your best friend has purchased this guy. Now that creates some animosity, possibly. Maybe some teasing. You know, and guys, like I said, I'm putting my devil's advocate hat on here. I'm playing devil's advocate. We can look at the positives like we did in part 1 of the variant action figure factor. But here in part 2 of this series, we're looking at a lot of the what ifs. You know, man, I got this tan shirt rock and roll figure. Now I have to go back out and purchase this figure just so I can say I have both figures. So my friend who has the green shirt version isn't teasing me uncontrollably. Makes you think, guys. It makes you think. Which leads us into the money grabbing aspect of the situation. Is Mego or Hasbro or these companies, toy companies, are they helping or hurting? You know, like I said, personally, I think they're helping, but I mean, I have to keep my devil's advocate hat on here. I want us to think. I want us to really look at this from a broader perspective. You had this Mego Wave 3 Captain Kirk, which was extremely difficult to find, and yet there was 10,000 of this guy. But you know, pretty much every collector I've spoken to said this guy is very hard to find. He's become one of the most difficult Wave 3 figures, Mego figures, to find out there in the wild, just period. So Mego's thinking was, hey, let's bring out another Mr. Spock figure, different outfit, different hand sculpt. So it makes him different. But to me, he's still a variant. And maybe Mego's thinking was, you know what? The clamoring and grabbing for this figure, the positive reaction for this figure, because he was so limited, let's bring out another Spock figure. And that way, it'll satisfy the collectors. Now there'll be more Spock figures flooding the market. When in actuality, I would have loved for them to produce the same exact figure in the same exact outfit, because I was literally only able to find one of this figure. Never saw as many Targets as I visited, and as many times as I hit the refresh button on the Target website, was not able to find multiples of this Wave 3 Mr. Spock. Yes. Do we have more Spocks now that's readily available? Sure. How about if we just made more of this Wave 3 Spock in the same exact outfit? I think that would have made a lot of collectors happy, because once again, you can go to, there's multiple toy websites now that are carrying this Mr. Spock figure, the new Wave 4 one. And he hasn't sold out. A lot of the Wave 4 figures are on back order. You have to pre-order them again. They've sold out. This one is still readily available on 3 to 4 websites that I've checked. Did my homework, guys. So he hasn't sold out. And yet this one has become somewhat of a chase figure, a holy grail figure. He's tough. He's very rare in some aspects. He's all of those things. Very difficult to get your hands on this guy. Guys, we're just scraping the surface. We want your comments. We want your thoughts, your opinions. Leave all of that in the comment section right underneath this video. Which brings us to our next part here, the hoarding factor. You have people buying multiples of figures of variants and reselling them for resale purposes. Makes it very difficult for collectors, enthusiasts, or just somebody that wants the figure to obtain, and they're doing it for resale purposes to make more money off of it. Do the companies that make these variants, are they aware of that? I'm sure they are. Can they do much about it? Probably not. But it is an issue. And I had a subscriber write a really cool comment yesterday on the first part of our variant action figure factor video. And he was pretty much saying some of the same stuff, that, you know, it's just a lot of scalpers have really tainted and made it very difficult and dissatisfying for a lot of collectors out there that are forced to have to go to the secondary market for these figures, especially if they couldn't find the first one. The Dracula here are Wave 1. Bela Lugosi Dracula figure was one of the biggest hits of the year for Mego, especially Mego coming back, and sold out multiple times. It's very hard to find this guy in the wild at the store, on the website, at Target. Very difficult. So Mego brought this guy back out again. Now you gave him for the most part, you just gave him a red cape, a red liner inside of his cape, which is super cool, super awesome. I've read a lot of comments. I've had, well, you know, a few collectors tell me, what was the point of even bringing this guy back out? We didn't want him. You added just a red, red liner to his cape. Who cares? We won't be purchasing it. And I read that from a lot of collectors, on, that enthusiasts that stop by the channel, and fellow collectors. I'm happy with the first one. I don't need another Bela Lugosi figure. There's not much change in the outfit. Maybe you could have put him in a completely different outfit, or maybe from a different movie that had Lugosi in it. So we heard all of that. What do you think, guys? What's your take on it? Overloading the market, guys. Overloading the market. And we're looking at our Mego Frankenstein figures. I had a subscriber with some cool comments about that. More glow-in-the-dark variants would be welcomed. He would gladly open his wallet and pay money, good hard-earned money, for more glow-in-the-dark variants. And I think I think he had a great point. Migo hit it out the ballpark with our glow in the dark Frankenstein. Same Frankenstein, same head sculpt, but I think Migo really got it right on that in this instance, where you have a glow in the dark version of this Frankenstein. And this has been one of the biggest sellers for Migo thus far, that glow in the dark Frankenstein figure. Smash hit. Even gave him more accessories, you know, these chain shackles here, as opposed to this. Very difficult to get this guy, this new variant. He's sold out. You have to pre-order him again. Very few websites are carrying him. Very difficult. All of those aspects, guys. Then we come to the Migo 14-inch Batman variant. The blue Batman, as he's come to be known as. Better head sculpt, shorter neck, as we know about this. The first one, the Wave 1 Batman, Golden Age Batman. Was it necessary to do this figure again? I think Migo hit it out the ballpark. I think they did, but I'm devil's advocate, guys. We got one Batman already. How about doing the first Batman the right way the first time? Bring this Batman out again. Longer cape, shorter neck, same outfit. How about just making this figure better if you're going to bring him out again, as opposed to having a variant? And I know what you guys are saying. You guys can jump on me, guys, pile on me. M.I.B. Well, we want a variant. The black Batman as opposed to the blue Batman. The blue Batman aesthetically looks better. Okay. Well, and Migo sent out new heads for the old Batman. So you could buy the head and put it on there as opposed to having this one. But I'm an M.I.B. collector. I don't want to open a box. If anything, restructure the box like you did with this one, as you can see the face better. You can't see the face on here. You have to come underneath at that angle and redo it. Guys, we're just touching on things. We want to get the blood flowing, or boiling in this case. I want you guys upset with me. Call into the channel, write into the channel, yell at me. Here's one that's aesthetically beautiful. Our Star Trek Migo Romulan commanders. Was there a need for another Romulan commander? Yes. Does he look aesthetically better? Sure. But outside of the outfit, not much of a change. I heard a lot of collectors say, hey, I'm going to simply pass on it. I don't need it. We want your thoughts, guys. We want your opinions. Do we need two Batgirls from Figures Toy Company? Do we need it? One has the printed on logo and belt and shoes. This one's has the black and yellow version. Her first appearance variant. Flooding the market, guys. You do the math on this. Is it necessary? Is it necessary for two Shames, my two 1966 Batman Shame figures, villains? First one, got the two pistols, nice outfit, you name it. And this is the jail version of Shame. about to break out of jail. Necessary? We don't know. But is it hurting the value of these variants? 2 Babylon 5 variants of Ambassador Jakar. Necessary? You do the math, guys. Same head sculpt, different outfit. You know the routine, guys. We want all the information today. Right into the channel, guys. Stay tuned for more hot topics, more discussions. God bless and keep collecting.